In 1984, Volkswagen introduced the very first Jetta GLI to the U.S. market. Fast forward 30 years to what you see here today. Hello and welcome back to Everyman Driver. I'm Dave Erickson. Thanks so much for watching. This week I've been driving and reviewing the 2014 Volkswagen Jetta GLI Autobahn trim level with navigation. Coming up on this episode, we'll talk about its engine and performance, show you some real-world legroom and headroom from an Everyman driver's point of view, talk about the cargo volume and ride and handling. Let's get started. Volkswagen offers just one engine choice under the hood of the GLI for 2014, and that's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder direct injection. Although they do have 2 transmission options, 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic, we have the automatic. This does kick out 210 horses, 207 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy numbers, though, estimated at 24 city, 32 highway this week. I've been averaging just 25 in mixed driving, so not too happy about that. It has a 14.5 gallon fuel tank. The car weighs around 3,100 pounds, and the recommended fuel type is premium, so you might have to pay a little bit more at the pump. Time for a look at your real-world legroom and headroom from an Everyman driver's point of view, as long as that Everyman driver is 5'11". And here's how much room I have between my knees and the back of the driver's seat, and this was my position as a driver, and I've got plenty of room. So if you have a couple of adults who are 6'2", you're going to be plenty comfortable in the front and in the back. Although headroom, that's a stretch. It is a little bit tight right here. I can sit up straight and my head will hit the ceiling, so not a lot of comfort in terms of headroom, at least from someone who's my size. But these leatherette, they call it leatherette seating surfaces, are pretty comfortable. I like how they have this red stitching accent here along the seats. Black interior makes it a little bit claustrophobic, although you do have a power tilt and sliding sunroof. I know Melissa and I have discussed this recently, how often you use a sunroof. Love to hear your feedback. How often do you use a sunroof? On a hot day like this, probably not. I want to stay as cool as possible, which is another point. No sunshades here on either side passenger doors, which would help keep the heat out and keep it as cool as possible in here. There is no container behind the driver's seat for magazines or things like that, but you do have some pretty good size water bottle holders or storage inside the door panels, which I like as well. Now, you can fold down this armrest and have a pair of cup holders, which is good. And I probably should put my Red Bull in there because I'm getting pretty thirsty on a hot day like this. Let's take a look now at your cargo room and trunk space. You have 3 ways to open the trunk lid here on the GLI. There is a tab on the inside door panel on the driver's side. There's a soft pad here just below the Volkswagen icon. There's also a push button right here on the key fob. Press and hold that, it opens up. So inside you have 16 cubic feet of volume of storage. Pretty wide opening and deceivingly deep. I got 2 pieces of luggage here to show you what that looks like. See how far back that goes, and the overhead bag goes even deeper. I'll go ahead and take these out. You can increase your cargo volume quite a bit as well if you want to fold down the back row of seats. It's a 60-40 split. You do so by pulling these levers right here. Volkswagen also offers a pass-through, which is very helpful if you have, let's say, 4-foot pieces of trim, which I picked up recently at Home Depot. Also, I was able to put my full bicycle back here, folding those seats down with my front tire off, so it was very convenient in that respect. And just below the floorboard, you'll find a spare tire and jack kit. All right, let's talk some ride and handling, but before we can do that, let's vitalize the mind and body and crack open a sugar-free Red Bull. Yeah. Oh, it tastes so good. Now the GLI has a stiff and harsh ride in my opinion, but the suspension and handling is fantastic, especially around corners. Now you will experience a fair amount of road noise, but that should be expected with a car that's a little bit lower to the ground and has that sporty sedan or coupe feel. In fact, it only has 4.9 inches of ground clearance. Now, a few of the vehicles that compete with the GLI include the Chevy Cruze, the Honda Civic, the Hyundai Elantra, and the Mazda 3, just to name 4. Now, on this particular vehicle, I'm riding on 18-inch alloy wheels. And if you look closely, you can see the red calipers on the inside. I mentioned earlier I am driving the Autobahn trim level. There's only really 2 trim levels on the GLI. It's the base and the Autobahn. And my vehicle has what I consider an undersized infotainment screen. This is pretty basic and not that intuitive in my opinion. It's kind of hard to navigate. I wish I could see a little more information on the front. What is nice about this display is that it's touchscreen, but some of these buttons are redundant because in addition to touching the screen, you can touch some of the outer buttons to control the same features. So probably a few too many buttons than necessary. The instrument cluster is pretty straightforward with additional information in the center to cycle through how far you have on your gas tank, your average consumption, travel time, and so on. The overall cabin feel here inside the GLI is pretty cool. I mean, it's a sporty vehicle to begin with, and these seats are slightly bolstered. One thing you'll notice about the steering wheel, it's a little bit off shape in terms of it's not a full circle. And I heard through the grapevine that this shortened bottom here is flat because Americans are overweight and they want to give a little bit more room for those bigger bellies. That's just what I've heard. A few of the standard features available on my trim level include keyless access and push button start, which you saw earlier, navigation, backup camera, Bluetooth connectivity, and heated front seats. But what you don't have is cooled front seats. And when you have leatherette seating surfaces on a warm day like this, you want every possible available option to you to keep your bum cool, in my opinion. The base MSRP range on the 2014 Volkswagen Passat is between $25,000 and $30,000, give or take a few $100. It is certainly a super fun vehicle to drive. I love the way it handles around corners. Pretty spacious on the inside, but gas mileage could be a little bit better, at least my experience this week. In the end, it is worth a look and most definitely a test drive. Until next time, I'm Dave Erickson with Everyman Driver. Thanks for watching.